Today we're gonna be doing a roof estimate breakdown. This is for a roof replacement project. It's $16,500 as a retail roof replacement project. I wanted to do a real project, so what I'm doing is we're gonna break down the price that I would charge myself on my own house. I actually just recently got a new house here in Longmont, Colorado, and we put a new roof on it. Let's talk about how $16,500 breaks down in terms of cost. So we're gonna break this price down into 7 categories. The first one, which is the tear off and disposal, the hauling away of the old shingles and the underlayment. On this project, it's about $1,800, which is around 11 to 12% of the total replacement cost. This is gonna be a pretty typical percentage of the overall cost for this size of roof, which is about a smaller to mid-sized roofs in our area in Colorado. This is for 1 layer of old shingles being torn off and 1 layer of underlayment. If there's old wood shakes or other layers of asphalt shingles, you're gonna see this number go up in proportion to the overall price, because that can be a significant cost. But this is pretty typical, 1 layer tear off and disposal, shingles and underlayment into the dump trailer, and that includes disposal fees. Second category is underlayment. And in this category, I'm putting the felt or synthetic felt. In this situation, we're using synthetic felt, and then 2 courses, so a total of 6 feet coming up from the eaves of GAF leak barrier or ice and water shield or ice and water barrier, which is what it's referred to generically. So that felt and underlayment is gonna come to $3,200, and that's gonna represent about 20% of the overall cost. Now, do keep in mind, this is pretty high relative to the overall cost, because on this particular home, there's a lot of eaves, meaning we had to use kind of a disproportionate amount of that leak barrier, which is gonna drive the cost up. If you're doing a roof replacement with no ice and water shield or leak barrier, although I don't necessarily recommend it in Colorado, obviously that's a place where that price is gonna go down for this second category, the underlayment category. Third category seems pretty obvious. These are the shingles. That's gonna be $8,850 and represents 55% of the overall cost of the project. This includes the shingles, ridge cap, starter, and the installation labor for all of those materials. In this example, we're using GAF Armor Shield Class 4 impact resistant shingles, GAF Sealer Ridge Armor Shield, which is also impact resistant ridge cap, and GAF Pro Start. And again, with installation labor included. So keep in mind, if you're seeing an estimate breakdown, higher grade shingles are gonna move the price up and cheaper shingles are gonna move that down. Also, some contractor estimates might separate the shingles themselves and the installation, but it's not uncommon to combine that as one category. Next category is going to be our flashings, new drip edge flashing and new step flashing. That's about $919, and it's about 6% of the overall cost of the project. Now keep in mind, if you're not using drip edge, which you should, that cost is going to go away. Replacing the step flashing, that cost can go away. We recommend doing both of those things. Also, if you have 2 or 3 chimneys or skylight flashings, that flashing cost can start to add up, but that's a critical expenditure. That's not a category you want to save money on, because that's probably where you're going to have problems with the roof. Next category is going to be ventilation, which we're replacing and upgrading. It's about $753 and represents 5 to 7% of the overall cost of the project. In this project, we're using new slant back vents and GAF Intake Pro in order to correct the ventilation a little bit. Again, a category not to skimp on, because now we can make sure our attic is breathing and we're preserving the warranty from the shingle manufacturer as long as we have proper ventilation. So that's money well spent, and about 5 to 7% is going to be pretty typical for a proper ventilation detail on an average Colorado roof replacement. Category 6 is our accessories. In this project, it's about $210, 1 to 2%. I think in this one, it's 1.3% of the overall project cost. What are roofing accessories? We're talking about nails and sealant. We need quite a few nails and quite a bit of sealant to get the project done. So a little bit of a cost there. Next category, some people don't think about, which is our building permit, which is $150 $88. That's usually about 1+%. So right around 1%, a little bit more for the overall cost of a project. Now keep in mind, these can vary, right? Quite a bit. City of Longmont versus town of Erie versus city of Boulder versus Boulder County. You're gonna see some variability in the building permit fee associated with a re-roof or roof replacement project. So typically, you're not gonna see that represented in a roof estimate up front, but your contractor might tell you about it and charge you for it later. That can be pretty common because we don't know exactly what the building permit cost is gonna be. But that's a great question to ask your roofing contractor. Hey, do we need a permit? Are you pulling a permit? Roughly, what do you think it's gonna cost? Are you gonna charge me for that, or is it included in the estimate? That's just good, honest conversation with your roofing contractor. So we're a little bit shy on our $16,500. That's because we haven't included our lovely $481 in material sales tax. Because keep in mind, we're buying all these materials, there's gonna be material sales tax included with that. If we add that 481 up to the 16,500, we should be pretty close on our math here, okay? Now keep in mind, for a roof replacement estimate, material sales tax should only be applied to the material itself, not to labor or overhead and profit. Now, speaking of overhead and profit, you might ask, hey, we didn't break down any contractor overhead and profit in this estimate. Builders building you a new home or maybe a big remodel, traditionally, they will break out, their fees or overhead and profit separately from the rest of the estimate. For a residential roof replacement, you're not gonna see very many roofing contractors do that, and we certainly don't. It's just integrated into the items, the material, labor costs, etc. You might wanna call it markup. That's obviously how we make a living and support the company, but typically you're not gonna see overhead and profit broken down in a normal roofing bid or roofing estimate. I'm Patrick with WestPro Home Exteriors in Longmont, Colorado. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown and it was helpful and useful. If you're looking for other informational videos on roofing, siding, window replacement, even gutter replacement and leaf guards, we've got other really helpful videos. You can subscribe for those. Also, you're welcome to leave a comment. We'll try to get back to you with answers for your questions.